So gravitation, we all know that in universe, whenever there are two objects which has some mass, when they are brought closer to each other, they attract each other with some force, which is known as gravitational force. So, it is a universal law क्योंकि wherever you go, मतलब in space or everywhere, this gravitational force exists. Okay, so if you have two objects, let's say these two objects have masses m1 and m2, and they are separated by a distance r, then the gravitational force is given as g m1 m2 upon r square. So the gravitational force between two objects is given as g m1 m2 upon r square, where g is the universal gravitational constant. Okay, so g is the universal gravitational constant, and the value of this is 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. So this is a constant which is same whether you go on moon, whether you go on in space, whether you are on the surface of earth, everywhere you will find this value the same. So this is known as Newton's law of gravitational force. So Newton's law of gravitational force gives us the value of the force between two masses m1 and m2, which are separated by a distance r from each other. So basically this force is directly proportional to product of the masses and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. So this gravitational constant is a scalar quantity, SI unit. In SI unit, the value is 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. CGS unit, its value is 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 8 dyne centimeter square per gram square. Now, dimension of gravitational constant is m minus 1 L3 T minus 2. Its value is same throughout the universe and is independent of the nature, size of the bodies and nature of the medium between the two bodies. So it is same throughout the universe. It is independent of nature, size of the body and nature of its medium between the bodies. In किसी चीज पे depend नहीं करता है. Its value was first experimentally calculated by Henry Cavendish. Now vector form of Newton's law of gravitation. तो जैसे हम लोग कुलम्स लॉ ऑफ वेक्टर फॉर्म में देखते हैं कुलम्स लॉ को, देखो इलेक्ट्रोस्टैट और ग्रेविटेशन में बहुत सिमिलैरिटी है, ऑलमोस्ट सिमिलर ही सारी चीजें तुम्हें दिखेंगी. तो जैसे वेक्टर फॉर्म ऑफ न्यूटन्स लॉ ऑफ ग्रेविटेशन देखें तो जो पोजीशन वेक्टर है 2 का विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू 1 r12 रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं. सो r12 इज माइनस ऑफ r21 बेसिकली. So R12 is minus of R21, right? And ये F12 है ना, force on 2 due to, so force on 1 due to 2, और F21 is force on second object due to first object. Okay, so R12 is displacement vector from A to B, R21 is displacement vector from B to A, opposite of that. F21 is gravitational force exerted on B by A, है ना, on 2 by 1. Okay, F21 का मतलब F12 is gravitational force exerted on A by B, है ना, फर्स्ट पे जो सेकंड के वजह से लग रहा है. और F12 को अगर हम लोग वैल्यूज निकालें तो GM1 M2 डिवाइडेड बाय R12 स्क्वायर, और R12 का यूनिट वेक्टर, R12 का यूनिट वेक्टर मतलब 1 से 2 के तरफ जो यूनिट वेक्टर है. सो दिस इज R12 का यूनिट वेक्टर, राइट. तो F12 फोर्स ऑन 1 ड्यू टू 2 में जो डायरेक्शन होगा वो R12 का डायरेक्शन होगा. और इसी को अगर यूनिट वेक्टर को अगर हम वेक्टर के फॉर्म में लिख लें R12, तो एक R12 मैग्नीट्यूड से और डिवाइड करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि यूनिट वेक्टर R12 का यूनिट वेक्टर को हम लोग लिख सकते हैं R12 वेक्टर बाय R12 का मैग्नीट्यूड. तो उसको अगर हम लोग रिप्लेस कर लें इस यूनिट वेक्टर को, तो R12 बाय R12 का क्यूब हो जाएगा. हमें पता है R12 माइनस R21 होता है, तो अगर R21 के टर्म्स में सेम F12 को लिखोगे तो माइनस ऑफ GM1 M2 R21 स्क्वायर और R21 का मैग्नीट्यूड. तो ये वेक्टर फॉर्म है, किसी भी फॉर्म में लिखा जा सकता है, राइट. सो now we express we prefer to express gravitational force in vector form with negative sign to emphasize that it is an attractive force. So हमेशा negative sign के साथ लिखते हैं. तो जब F21 यूज करेंगे तो R12 यूज करेंगे, और जब F12 यूज करेंगे तो R21 यूज करेंगे, जैसा कि आपने देखा था. So अगर यहीं पे अगर F12 लिखेंगे तो this is minus of G M1 M2 divided by R21 square, R21 का यूनिट वेक्टर. ठीक है. So F12 is negative of F21. So the gravitational force between two bodies is equal in magnitude and opposite in directions. Now gravitational forces form action and reaction pair and hence obey Newton's third law of motion. Gravitational force between two bodies is independent of intervening medium between them. तो हमेशा एक्शन रिएक्शन पेयर बनता है. एक्शन रिएक्शन पेयर क्या होता है? दो डिफरेंट ऑब्जेक्ट पे अप्लाई होता है और ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन में होता है. ठीक है. तो एक्शन और रिएक्शन पेयर बनता है. अगर जैसे फर्स्ट ऑब्जेक्ट पे जो सेकंड ऑब्जेक्ट फोर्स लगा रहा है और सेकंड पे जो फर्स्ट ऑब्जेक्ट फोर्स लगा रहा है, ये इक्वल एंड ऑपोजिट है. ऑपोजिट इन डायरेक्शन एंड इक्वल इन मैग्नीट्यूड. और ये दोनों दो ऑब्जेक्ट पे लग रहा है. पहला फोर्स फर्स्ट ऑब्जेक्ट पे लग रहा था, सेकंड फोर्स सेकंड ऑब्जेक्ट पे लग रहा है. So gravitational force between two bodies is independent of intervening medium between them. तुम पानी में लेके चले जाओ, एयर में लेके चले जाओ, कोई भी मीडियम में लेके चले जाओ, ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स सेम रहेगा वहां पे. Now gravitational forces are central forces. Okay, so central forces as in the forces are acting along the center of masses of the two bodies. So gravitational force are central forces as they act along the line joining the center of the two bodies. So when I talk when these are the two bodies, then the center of these two join together. So forces will act along the line joining the center of these two objects. Center as in center of mass. तो यहाँ पे तो सर्कुलर ऑब्जेक्ट है तो उसका सेंटर और सेंटर ऑफ मास सेम है, बट सेंटर ऑफ मास पे जनरली ये फोर्सेस लग रहा होता है. Gravitational forces are conservative forces, so work done by gravitational forces does not depend upon path. तो जो इनके प्रॉपर्टीज हैं हम लोग ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्सेस वो देख रहे हैं. पहला सेंट्रल फोर्सेस है, दूसरा कंजर्वेटिव फोर्सेस है. कंजर्वेटिव फोर्स का मतलब वर्क डन डज नॉट डिपेंड अपॉन पाथ. तो ग्रेविटेशन की वजह से जो वर्क डन होगा दैट इज इंडिपेंडेंट अपॉन पाथ, इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ पाथ, राइट. तो जब इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ पाथ होता है ना, हम लोगों ने देखा है जब कंजर्वेटिव फोर्सेस अप्लाई हो रहे होते हैं तो हम लोग जो मोमेंटम है उसको कंजर्व कर सकते हैं, एनर्जी है उसको कंजर्व कर सकते हैं. So gravitational forces is very weak. Okay, so gravitational force इसका जो मैग्नीट्यूड होता है बहुत कम होता है. तो इसीलिए दो ऑब्जेक्ट रखा हुआ है तो आप उन दोनों ऑब्जेक्ट को एक दूसरे की तरफ मूव करते हुए नहीं देखते हो, क्योंकि फोर्स इतना वीक है कि उसका मूवमेंट नहीं करवा पाता है. ठीक है. अर्थ के केस में जो है ऑब्जेक्ट जो उसके ऊपर रखा है वो अर्थ की तरफ अट्रैक्टेड रहता है, या किसी हाइट पे ले जाके किसी स्टोन को छोड़ें तो वो अर्थ की तरफ गिरता है. दैट इज बिकॉज कि अर्थ का मास बहुत ज्यादा है. अदरवाइज टू जो ऑब्जेक्ट बाकी दो कोई भी दो ऑब्जेक्ट जो एग्जिस्ट कर रहे हैं अर्थ के ऊपर है ना सरफेस पे, उन दोनों के बीच में यू डोंट सी दैट ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स बिकॉज द वैल्यू इज वेरी लेस. Gravitational force between two bodies is independent of presence of other bodies. ठीक है. So it is independent of presence of other bodies. Gravitational forces obey principle of superposition. ठीक है. So according to this principle, total gravitational force on one particle due to number of particles is the resultant of forces of attraction exerted on the given particle due to individual particles taken one at a time. So principle of superposition जैसा कि इलेक्ट्रोस्टैट्स में या कहीं पे भी है, उसका मतलब यही होता है कि if there are many particles present, so forces due to each of these particles, let's say ये एक मास m है और इसके आसपास कई सारे ऑब्जेक्ट्स रखे हैं. इसका मास m1 हो गया, इसका m2 हो गया, इसका m3 हो गया, इसका m4 हो गया और इसका मान लो मास m है. तो m1 m, तो ये एक फोर्स इसके अलोंग हो जाएगा, दूसरा फोर्स इसके अलोंग, तीसरा फोर्स इसके अलोंग और चौथा फोर्स इसके अलोंग. सो ये हो गया, मान लो ये 1 है, ये फर्स्ट ऑब्जेक्ट है, ये 0 हो गया मान लो, ये 2 है, ये 3 है और ये 4 है। तो हम लोग जो फोर्सेस लिखेंगे, ये F10 हो गया, है ना, F01 कर लो, 0 पे 1 के वजह से जो फोर्स लग रहा है, F02, and then we have F03, and this is F04. So all these forces are acting on this object, okay, acting on this object, and these forces when added together vectorally will give you the net force which is acting on them. So जब हम लोग फोर्सेस को कंसिडर करते हैं तो बाकी सारे फोर्सेस को, बाकी सारे ऑब्जेक्ट्स को वी एज्यूम कि देयर आर नो ऑब्जेक्ट्स प्रेजेंट, एंड देन इंडिविजुअल ऑब्जेक्ट्स की वजह से जो फोर्सेस लग रहे होंगे, अट्रैक्टिव फोर्सेस, उन सब का वेक्टर सम कर देते हैं तो नेट फोर्स निकल जाता है, विच इज नोन एज प्रिंसिपल ऑफ सुपरपोजिशन। ठीक है, सो टोटल ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स on one particle due to number of particle is the resultant of forces of attraction exerted on the given particle due to individual particles taken one at a time. Now let us do a few questions based on this. First one is two particles of masses 1 kg and 2 kg are placed at a separation of 50 centimeter. So there are two particles, एक का mass 1 kg है, दूसरे का mass 2 kg है, and they are placed at a separation of 50 centimeter, that is 0.5 meter. Assuming that only forces acting on the particle are either mutual gravitation, find the initial accelerations of the two particles. So initial acceleration निकालने के लिए पहले तो force निकाल लेंगे, तो gravitational force F is equal to G m1 m2 divided by r square. So this is 6.67 10 to the power minus 11 1 into 2 divided by 0.5 का whole square. So this is equal to, if you calculate this, 6.67 into, so this is 5.33 10 to the power minus 10 Newton. फोर्स निकल गया, अब एक्सेलरेशन दोनों पार्टिकल का निकालना है। एक्सेलरेशन ऑफ फर्स्ट पार्टिकल इज, देखो फोर्स दोनों पे सेम लगेगा, जितना फोर्स इस पे लगेगा उतना ही अट्रैक्टिव फोर्स इस पे लगेगा। F by m1 a1 एक्सेलरेशन पहले पार्टिकल का हो जाएगा, सो दिस इज 5.33 into 10 to the power minus 10 मीटर पर सेकेंड स्क्वायर, क्योंकि मास क्या है यहाँ 1 kg है। दूसरा a2 is equal to F by m2, so this is 5.33 into 10 to the power minus 10 divided by 2. So this is 2.66. 10 to the power minus 10 meter per second square. क्लियर है सबको?
यस सर।
The next question, a mass m is split into two parts, okay, small m and capital M minus m, right? Which are then separated by a certain distance. What ratio small m by capital M maximizes the gravitational force between the parts? तो let's say हमारे पास दो ऑब्जेक्ट है, ठीक है, एक का मास स्मॉल m है, दूसरे का मास कैपिटल M माइनस m है, and they are separate by a distance r. So we have to find the ratio small m by capital M so that the maximum gravitational force acts between the parts. So gravitational force F is equal to G small m into capital M minus small m r square, right? So this is equal to G capital M small m minus G m square divided by r square. ना इसको अगर हम लोग को बेसिकली हम लोग को क्या करना होगा, मैक्सिमाइज करना है, तो इसको हम लोग स्मॉल एम मास से के रेस्पेक्ट में डिफरेंशिएट कर देते हैं. सो फॉर जो मैक्सिमा मिनिमा के लिए हम लोग करते हैं, फॉर मैक्सिमम वैल्यू ऑफ एफ df अपॉन dm. देखो टोटल मास जो था कैपिटल एम था, वो दो पार्ट में ब्रेक किया है, एक स्मॉल एम में और दूसरा कैपिटल एम माइनस ऑफ स्मॉल एम में. सो अब अगर तो वेरिएबल यहाँ पे क्या है, स्मॉल एम ही तो है ना, क्योंकि रेशियो हम लोग को निकालना है, वेरिएबल यहाँ पे स्मॉल एम है, इसीलिए एम स्मॉल एम के रेस्पेक्ट में डिफरेंशिएट कर रहे हैं और इसको जीरो से इक्वेट कर देंगे अगर हम लोग को मैक्सिमाइज करना है इसका वैल्यू. तो df बाई dm इक्वल टू जीरो करेंगे, तो डिफरेंशिएट कर लेते हैं हम gmm minus gm square divided by r square with respect to m. Okay, so basically all other things, capital G, capital M and R, these are all considered constant. Only variable is small m, and that's why we are differentiating with respect to small m and equating it to zero. So when we differentiate this whole thing, so we'll get G capital M, and a differentiation of small m with respect to m will give you 1 minus of 2 times G small m, G m square है तो 2m हो जाएगा, इसको डिफरेंशिएट करेंगे m स्क्वायर को m के रेस्पेक्ट में, डिवाइडेड बाय r स्क्वायर इज इक्वल टू 0. r स्क्वायर को उधर ले जाएंगे, we'll equate it to 0. So we'll get capital M minus 2m is 0, or capital M is equal to twice of small m. Small m by capital M is equal to 1 by 2. So the ratio is 1:2. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now let's come to example 3. Two stationary particles of masses m1 and m2 at a distance d apart. So we have two stationary particles, and these two stationary particles are at a distance d apart. A third particle lying on the line joining the particles experiences no resultant gravitational force, right? So what is the distance of this particle from m1? तो हम लोग को ये r का वैल्यू निकालना है. देखो m1 के वजह से, अच्छा हम लोग को ये कैसे पता चलेगा, ये तो फिगर बना हुआ है, ये कैसे पता चलेगा कि इन दोनों के बीच में ही लाई करेगा? सो जस्ट ट्राई एंड अंडरस्टैंड. अगर मान लो m1 यहाँ पे होता, राइट, और m2 यहाँ पे होता, और m को कहीं यहाँ ले लेंगे, स्मॉल m को, राइट, तो स्मॉल m पे जो फोर्सेस लगेंगे वो m2 के वजह से इधर और m1 के वजह से भी ये इधर, है ना, F1 और F2 दोनों इधर ही लग रहा है. तो ये दोनों फोर्सेस एक दूसरे को, मतलब द रिजल्टेंट विल नेवर बी जीरो. तो हम लोग को क्या निकालना है, एक्सपीरियंसेस नो रिजल्टेंट ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स. उसी तरह अगर ऑब्जेक्ट यहाँ पे होता है स्मॉल m, तो अट्रैक्टिव फोर्स दोनों इसी डायरेक्शन में लगता, है ना, F1 और F2, यहाँ पे भी सम 0 नहीं होता। ओनली पॉइंट इज अगर इन दोनों के बीच में होगा तभी अट्रैक्टिव फोर्स M1 की वजह से इधर और M2 की वजह से इधर लगेगा। सो M1 की वजह से जो अट्रैक्टिव फोर्स इस डायरेक्शन में लग रहा है, M2 की वजह से अट्रैक्टिव फोर्स इस डायरेक्शन में लगेगा, और ये दोनों एक दूसरे को बैलेंस कर सकते हैं क्योंकि ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शंस में, डिपेंडिंग ऑन R का क्या वैल्यू है। सो F1 has to be equal to F2 according to question. So F1 is Gm1m divided by R square. So if this distance is R, this distance will be D minus R, right? Total distance D minus this distance R. So this will be equal to Gm2m divided by D minus R ka whole square. Now Gm gets cancelled. So you will have M1 into D minus R whole square is equal to M2 into R square. Okay. Now we have to find the value of R basically. So when you solve this, we'll have if you bring it in this D minus R divided by R ka whole square is equal to M2 by M1. So this will give us D by R minus of 1 whole square is equal to M2 by M1. D by R minus of 1 is root M2 divided by root M1. Okay. So D by R is equal to root M2 root M1 plus 1. So root M2 plus root M1 divided by root M1. So we have to find the value of R. R is equal to root M1D divided by root M1 plus root M2. There's the value. Is it clear?
Yes, sir, it is clear.
Now this fourth example is 3 masses each equal to capital M are placed at the 3 corners of a square of side A. Okay. So ये स्क्वायर है जिसके चारों साइड्स A के बराबर है. 3 masses each equal to M are placed at 3 corners. तो ये फर्स्ट कॉर्नर पे भी M रखा है, सेकंड पे भी M रखा है और ये थर्ड पे भी M रखा है. Now calculate the force of attraction on unit mass at the fourth corner. तो एक यहाँ पे M is equal to 1 kg है, इसके ऊपर क्या फोर्स लग रहा है वो निकालना. तो बेसिकली हम लोग को क्या करना है, F1, F3 और ये F2, इन तीनों का रिजल्टेंट निकालना है. बेसिकली F1, F2 और F3 का रिजल्टेंट निकालोगे, FR है ना, वो इवेंचुअली इसी के अलोंग आएगा. दैट विल सी, क्योंकि ये दोनों परपेंडिकुलर है F1 और F3 और दोनों का मैग्नीट्यूड सेम है, तो दैट विल बी अलोंग द डायगोनल ओनली, एंड इस डायगोनल वाले फोर्स के साथ वो एड अप हो जाएगा. सो इफ यू फाइंड दिस डिस्टेंस, so this whole distance, this is A, this is A, this will be equal to root 2A, this diagonal. So the value of F1 is equal to G capital M into small m divided by a square. So gm into 1 by a square or gm by a square. Similarly, f3 will be same as f1 gm by a square. ठीक है, और resultant of f1 and f3 resultant of f1 and f3 is equal to root under f1 square plus f3 square along diagonal. So this is root 2 gm by a square. ठीक है, क्योंकि ये दोनों का वैल्यू सेम है, 1 स्क्वायर प्लस 1 स्क्वायर रूट 2 हो जाएगा, तो रूट 2 gm by a स्क्वायर हो गया. इसको हम लोग fr से रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं. अब ये f2 का वैल्यू निकालेंगे. f2 इज इक्वल टू gm बाय रूट 2a का होल स्क्वायर gm by 2a square. Now net force is equal to F resultant plus F2. दोनों सेम डायरेक्शन में ऐड कर लेंगे. रूट 2 प्लस 1 बाय 2 gm by a square. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Next question is 3 particles each of mass m are placed at the 3 corners of an equilateral triangle of side A. So we have 3 particles placed at 3 corners of equilateral triangle of side A. Find the force exerted by this system on another particle of mass m placed at the midpoint of a side and be at the center of the triangle. तो अगर किसी midpoint of the side पे है, मान लो यहाँ पे है, ठीक है, फर्स्ट पार्ट में, तो उस पे क्या फोर्स लग रहा है. देखिए, इसके वजह से जो फोर्स लगेगा वो इस डायरेक्शन में है, और बाकी इन दोनों के वजह से जो फोर्स लगेगा वो एग्जैक्टली मिड पॉइंट पे है, तो दोनों एक दूसरे को बैलेंस आउट कर देगा, राइट. सो ये अगर P पे हम लोग निकाल रहे हैं तो FA FB ये दोनों का वैल्यू सेम होगा, है ना, मास सेम है, राइट. तो so FA is equal to FB will cancel each other, right. These forces, the value of FA will be equal to gm square by a by 2 ka whole square. Similarly, FB is also gm square. M1 M2 means m into m, because the particle which is at P also has mass m. So gm square a by 2 ka whole square. These will balance each other. Now the net force which is acting is along this. Now see, this is a by 2, this is a, this is an equilateral triangle. So equilateral triangle में जो मीडियन होता है वही उसका एल्टीट्यूड भी होता है, और इसका जो वैल्यू होगा दिस विल बी रूट 3 बाय 2a, है ना. यू कैन फाइंड इट आउट एज वेल. a स्क्वायर माइनस a स्क्वायर बाय 4 का रूट अंडर is the value of Cp. So this is 3 root 3a by 2. So root 3a by 2 is the value of CP. So value of FC. So FC is equal to GM square by root 3a by 2 का whole square. GM square by 3a square by 4. Four GM square by, just a second. So 4 GM square upon 3a square. तो ये नेट फोर्स जो लग रहा है, राइट, along PC. ठीक है. अब कह रहा है एट द सेंटर ऑफ द ट्राइंगल. अगर ये सेंटर ऑफ द ट्राइंगल की हम बात करें, ये तो फर्स्ट पार्ट हो गया, है ना. फर्स्ट पार्ट लिख लिया सबने? तो मैं दूसरा वाला करूंगा.
Yes, sir. लिख लिया.
सेंटर ऑफ द ट्राइंगल में मतलब सेंट्रॉइड ऑफ द ट्राइंगल. इस पे जो M के वजह से जो फोर्स होगा वो इस डायरेक्शन में होगा, और ये सो force due to the particle at A is in this direction. Force due to particle at B is in this direction. Force due to particle at C is in this direction, right? Now all these forces, right? So the value of this force, so FAO, right, is equal to FBO is equal to FCO. The magnitude will remain the same. Why? Because the distance is same, and the distance is 2/3 of, so basically AO is equal to BO is equal to CO, 2/3 of the length of the altitude, that is root 3 by 2a, because altitude and the median is of same, is the same line, so the length will be same. So this will be equal to a by root 3. So 2 and 2 gets cancelled. So a by root 3 is the value. So FAO is equal to FBO is equal to FCO is equal to G on another particle. So here also the particle has mass m only. So Gm square divided by a by root 3 whole square. So this will be equal to 3gm square by a square. So these are same in all these directions, and the angle between them is 120 degree each, right? So they will balance each other. So three forces, you can directly apply this rule also, otherwise we can do it in other way as well. So because each of these angles are 120 degree and the value of each of the forces is equal, so when such a case occurs, net force will be equal to 0 in such a case. Now let us consider, let us do it in other way. So let's say this angle will be equal to 60 degree. So let us do it in other way. If we are not using this rule, then how to solve it, we'll see that. See, this is F, this is also F, this is also F. This angle will be 60 degree, this will be 60 degree. So F cos 60 plus F cos 60. We are taking the component of F along this direction, cos component, and the component which is horizontal, that will balance each other, F sine 60 and F sine 60. So these two forces cancel out each other. These two forces will add up to give F into 1 by 2 plus F into 1 by 2. So this is F by 2 plus F by 2 is F. So net force acting downward is F, upward force is F. These two forces balances each other. Okay. So these two forces balances each other and hence net force becomes 0. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So at center, net force is equal to 0.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes. बोलो.
Sir,
हाँ जी.
sir, we can do it by Lami's theorem also.
Yeah, we can do it by Lami's theorem also. It will again give you the same thing. Now, gravitational force due to a ring. So a point mass m is at a distance x from the center of the ring. So we have a point mass m at a distance x from the center of the ring of mass capital M. So this ring is of mass capital M and it has a radius r on its axis as shown in the figure. Find the gravitational force between. So basically एक ring है, इसका डेरिवेशन हम लोग को इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है क्योंकि हम लोग तो इसके एप्लीकेशन पे ज्यादा वर्क करेंगे. सो इफ वी हैव अ रिंग and we have to find the gravitational force on any particle which lies on the axis of this ring at a distance x from the center of the ring. Okay, so in that case the value of the gravitational force on this particle m due to ring will be equal to, the value is gmm x divided by r square plus x square raised to the power 3 by 2, and that is along this direction. So basically ये सारे पार्टिकल के जो ये कंपोनेंट है, इनका जो y कंपोनेंट है वो एक दूसरे को कैंसिल कर देता है और x कंपोनेंट हम ये ऐड करते जाते हैं और इसको इंटीग्रेट करते हैं, तब वैल्यू आता है. खैर वी डोंट हैव टू डिराइव इट, सो वी जस्ट नीड टू फाइंड द ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स हियर ड्यू टू अ रिंग ऑन द एक्सिस ऑफ द रिंग लाइंग एट अ डिस्टेंस x फ्रॉम द excuse me, lying at a distance x from the center of the ring. So this is gmmx divided by r square plus x square raised to the power 3 by 2. So you just need to remember this formula. Okay. So this is given here as well. The value of the force F is given here as well. This is equal to, so gravitational force Fg is gmm by r square plus x square raised to the power 3 by 2 और यहाँ पे x. Okay. Now there is a special case here as well. If x is very, very greater than r. So when x is very, very greater than r, then you know what you do is you remove this r square from r square plus x square. So in that case, this becomes, you know, this whole thing will become gmm x divided by this value. So gmm by x square basically. And also f will be maximum. To find the maximum value, we differentiate this whole thing. So the maximum value comes to 3√3 gmm by 4r square. This is the maximum value. Again, gravitational force due to rod. We don't have to derive the whole thing. The derivation is given, but you just need to remember the formula. So if you have a rod, let's say we have a mass m, point mass m, and another rod which has a mass capital M and length L. So one end of the rod, the nearer end of the rod is at a distance r from this point mass. Now in that case, the net force F is given by Gmm by L into 1 by r minus 1 by r plus L. So this is the value of the gravitational force between a point mass m and a rod of length L having mass capital M. So now shell theorem, Newton's shell theorem. So if a point mass lies outside a uniform spherical cell of solid sphere, uniform spherical cell or solid sphere of uniform mass distribution, then the shell or sphere attracts the point mass as if the entire mass of the cell or sphere were concentrated at its center. So if any object, if any point mass m lies outside this spherical cell or solid sphere, then this whole mass will act as if it is concentrated at the center of this. So then cell or sphere attracts the point mass as if entire mass of the cell or sphere were concentrated at its center. So it starts, this spherical object start acting as a point mass object. Now, second is if a point lies inside a uniform spherical cell, the gravitational force on the point mass is 0. So if you have a spherical cell and there is of mass m and there is another point which lies inside this spherical cell, so in this case, the force which is acting on this mass will be equal to 0. So force acting on a point mass lying inside a uniform spherical cell is 0. Third is, but if a point mass lies inside a homogeneous solid sphere, the force on the point mass act towards the center of the sphere. This force is exerted by the spherical mass situated interior to the point mass. Okay. So अगर ये spherical shell है, तो shell के केस में मतलब it is hollow sphere, there is nothing inside. So in that case, if there is some mass inside, the force will be 0. And if it is a solid sphere, okay, so if it is a solid sphere, then if you have to find the force on a particle of mass m which lies inside this solid sphere, then you will consider only this portion of the sphere which lies inside this. तो इसके मास को निकाल के उसके वजह से बस ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स यहाँ पे होगा. So gravitational force will be only because of the mass of this inner sphere. Okay, so this force is exerted by spherical mass situated interior to the point mass. So whatever spherical mass lies inside, only that mass will apply a force on this. We'll do these in details as well, but this is what is known as Newton's shell theorem. Now, gravitational force of a uniform sphere on a particle. So a point mass located outside the sphere or spherical cell. So, we are going to find the gravitational force on a point mass which is lying outside the spherical shell, outside the sphere or spherical cell, दोनों में. तो दोनों केस में हम लोगों ने कंसिडर किया था what we अभी studied in Newton's shell law, that this whole mass is considered to be concentrated at this point and acts as a point mass. So the force will be directly F is equal to G mm by R square. Why? Because you have a small mass m here, and then this whole sphere is concentrated at the center, act as a point mass having mass capital M, and the distance between these two is small r. So the force F is equal to G capital M small m upon R square. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, next, a point mass small m located within the volume enclosed by the sphere itself. तो sphere के अंदर कोई point mass है, यहाँ पे है, let's say. So what we considered is the region, spherical region, which is inside this. Only this will apply force on this. Okay. So let the mass m lie at a distance r from the center inside a sphere of mass capital M. So sphere has a mass capital M. This particle has a mass small m, and it is at a distance r from this. So this distance is equal to small r, जो यहाँ पे बताया, right? We can divide the entire mass of the sphere in two regions, one overlying mass m, that is region 1, and the solid sphere underlying region 2. So एक region which is inside this and the region which is outside this. Region which is outside this is called region 1, and region which lies inside this mass m is called region 2. Imagine the overlying portion to be composed of concentric spherical cells as shown in the figure. Each individual cell exert zero total gravitational force. So each of these part is considered as a cell, and then हर cell के वजह से interior में उसके zero force होता है, so there will be zero force due to this. Now, thus the mass of the sphere in region 1 contributes zero total gravitational force on M. तो रीजन 1, ये वाला जो रीजन है, इसके वजह से यहाँ पे इस पॉइंट पे जो मास है उस पे जो ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स एक्ट होगा दैट इज इक्वल टू 0. Now mass m small m is outside the spherical mass of region 2. So this region outside this region is this mass m, right? So this was whole mass, and then you have another mass small m. So we are talking about this region. So all the mass which is inside this region will apply a force on this. Now, what is the mass of this region? Okay, so this will be equal to, see, whole mass per unit volume will be m divided by 4 by 3 pi r cube. Total radius is r. This is mass per unit volume, and the volume which lies inside this has a radius small r. So into 4 by 3 pi small r cube. 4 by 3 pi gets cancelled. So the mass which lies inside this m dash is equal to m r cube upon capital R cube. Okay. Now this whole mass acts to be as if it is concentrated at this center, and then the gravitational force is, on due to these 2 point masses will be equal to g small m into m dash by r square, or g small m into m r cube by capital R cube divided by r square. So g m small m r divided by r cube. Is it clear? So this is basically, this varies linearly because, F is force F is proportional to R. So that means it varies linearly when the object is inside this. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So that's what is written here as well. So magnitude of total gravitational force of the entire sphere on M is due to only that portion of the total mass of sphere that lies in the region 2, inside this region 2. And this is our region 2. This is our region 1. Okay. If the sphere is uniform, the fraction of mass that lies within small r of the center is the ratio of the volume of the region to the volume of the entire sphere. So same thing which we calculated, m dash was equal to small r cube by capital R cube into m, and the force was equal to gm into m dash. M dash ka value yahan se we have put it by r square. So gmm small r by r cube. This is what we had also calculated. Now, so if you draw the graph of this, so what we know is when the object is outside the sphere, then the force F is G capital M small m by r square. So that means F is inversely proportional to square of the distance, right? तो उसका hyperbolic curve बनेगा, मतलब not hyperbolic curve, मतलब the curve will be something like this. So जब the maximum force is when the body, when this mass m lies on the surface of this solid sphere. So this is the maximum force gmm divided by r square. So from the center as we go outside, right? From the center as we move outside, the force will be directly proportional as seen here. F here is directly proportional to R. And when we reach the surface of the sphere, the force will be maximum, that is gmm by r square. And as we move further outwards, the gravitational force will decrease because it is inversely proportional to square of the distance then. So till small r is equal to capital R, F is proportional to R, and for r greater than capital R, F is inversely proportional to R. So this region is R less than capital R. This is R is equal to capital R, maximum force. And for this region, R is greater than R. So this will be, the force will decrease as you increase the distance. Is this clear, Bachcho? The graph also, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, so in the seventh example, a solid sphere of lead has mass capital M and radius R. तो हमारे पास एक lead है sphere, इसका mass capital M और radius capital R. Now, a spherical hollow is dug out from it. Its boundary passing through the center also touches the boundary of the solid sphere. इसमें से हम लोग ये एक दूसरा sphere निकाल के बाहर कर लेते हैं, अंदर से रिमूव कर देते हैं इस solid sphere को. So this is removed. ठीक है. Now deduce the gravitational force on a mass m placed at P, which is at a distance r from O along the line of centers. तो हम लोग को ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स यहाँ पे इसके वजह से निकालना है. सो ऐसे क्वेश्चंस में बेसिकली हम लोग, जब ये पूरा मास ओरिजिनल स्फीयर था तब उस समय जो फोर्स होगा, फोर्स ड्यू टू original solid sphere is equal to इसको कैपिटल एफ से बोल देते हैं जी स्मॉल एम इंटू, दिस इज स्मॉल एम, this was the whole thing is capital M, so GMM, so this whole thing was capital M and the remaining portion this is M dash, अगर इसको remove कर दिया तो GMM upon R square हो गया, ठीक है, along PO. Now force due to removed part, ठीक है, so ये जो है इसको M रन, इसको ये जो रिमूव्ड पार्ट है इसका मास M डैश लिखते हैं. So mass of removed part is equal to जो टोटल मास है कैपिटल M, मास पर यूनिट वॉल्यूम कर लेते हैं, डिवाइडेड बाय 4/3 पाई कैपिटल R क्यूब, the radius of this whole sphere is capital R, into 4/3 पाई, जो रिमूव्ड पार्ट है उसका जो रेडियस होगा वो R/2 है, so this is R/2 का होल क्यूब, राइट. सो दिस विल बी मास पर यूनिट वॉल्यूम, मतलब हम लोग डेंसिटी निकाल के और उसको इस स्मॉल स्मॉल स्फीयर का वॉल्यूम से मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे तो विल गेट द मास व्हिच हैज बीन रिमूव्ड. ओके, सो दिस इज लेट्स से m dash, 4/3 pi gets cancelled and r cube by 8, r cube gets cancelled, so this becomes m/8. So mass which we have removed is m/8. Okay, now the distance between these two is equal to, this distance will be, see this is whole is r minus, this distance will be r minus capital R/2. Okay, so force due to removed part is equal to F dash G M dash into M divided by small r minus R/2 whole square, GMM by 8 times small r minus R/2 whole square. So this is the force due to removed part. Okay, now see, we have to force due to remaining part, we have to find force due to remaining part. Okay, so what we'll do, the total, what we'll subtract F dash from F. So for force due to remaining part, principle of superposition we are using basically. Force due to remaining part is equal to F minus F dash. F is force due to complete part, F dash is force due to removed part, that will give you force due to remaining part. So this will be G capital M small m 1/r square minus 1/8 times r minus R/2 का whole square. Is it clear? This is the answer. So there is one more question. ये आप लोग होमवर्क में कर लीजिएगा. सिमिलर क्वेश्चन है. अगली क्लास में हम लोग फिर ग्रेविटेशनल मतलब बेसिकली एक्सेलरेशन ड्यू टू ग्रेविटी और हाउ इट डिपेंड्स ऑन डेप्थ, हाइट, ये सब चीज मतलब कैसे उसका डिपेंडेंसी है. फिर ग्रेविटेशनल फील्ड इंटेंसिटी हम लोग स्टार्ट करेंगे. ग्रेविटेशनल फील्ड, then gravitational potential, and then gravitational potential energy. So I think 4 classes will be needed to in total. आज एक हो गया. 3 more classes we'll try and finish this. Okay. चलो बच्चों, we'll stop here only for the day, right?